So in questions where we're looking for where we have a positive and negative derivative of a function given just the original function, so this right here that they're showing us is just regular f of x, and we want to think about the derivative and just in terms of positive and negative. What can help is how positive and negative derivatives show up on our original function is in terms of increasing versus decreasing. So positive derivatives is where our function is increasing, negative is where we are decreasing. So what I'm going to do is go to our graph here and just read from left to right and just think about whether our graph is increasing or decreasing. So increasing is when it's going upward and decreasing is when it's going downward. So starting furthest to the left that I can, we are going upward. So we are increasing, increasing, increasing until we hit this peak right here. I'm going to cut that. I'm just going to make note of that is happening at x equals -2. And then we switch to decreasing, 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 decreasing until we hit that kind of valley there. And again, I'm going to look at the x-axis. It looks like that's happening at about 1.5. And then we switch back to increasing for the rest of the graph. So how we mark these intervals is using the x values. So I have these boundaries at -2 and +1.5. So let's actually start with the decreasing interval because that's bounded between -2 and 1.5. So writing the interval, I want to have it start at -2, and then I'll have comma 1.5. And then for intervals, we need to use brackets around it. And there are different forms of brackets. With these, we always use parentheses because we're never including those endpoints. So we'll have parentheses, -2, comma 1.5, close those parentheses. So that's our interval for a negative derivative where a function was decreasing. Now for increasing, that happens in two spots. And on this left-hand side, so we know it ends at -2, where it's really starting is out at -infinity. So we're going to have -infinity to -2, and then it starts increasing again, so it has a positive derivative starting at 1.5 and going off to positive infinity. So how I would write that is we're going to have parentheses, -infinity, comma, -2, close those parentheses, and then we use the U symbol to show a union of intervals, and then we're going to start at 1.5, so parentheses 1.5, comma, infinity, close those parentheses, and that'll have our two intervals for negative and positive derivatives based on whether our graph was increasing or decreasing.